If someone you love has passed away and they haven't sent you signs from the spirit world just yet, here's a couple things that you can do so you can start to connect with them. One of the first things that I tell people is don't really worry about them trying to send you signs or them reaching out to you from the spirit world. That's really taking a passive role where we're just hoping that they come in and connect with us. You can actually reach out to them, and that's what I recommend, is taking more of an active role, because when we start to think of them, that brings their energy closer to us. And so, boom, we're going to be there. We're going to feel them. We're going to be able to feel their presence as soon as they come around. So once you're able to feel their presence, once you start to get that feeling like they're around you, then you're going to communicate. You're just going to talk to that feeling. You could ask questions. You could say things. You could talk about your day. You don't even have to ask questions, really. But that's the most important thing, is you really want to take an active role when connecting with your loved ones, or even spirit guides or any spirit that you want to connect with. Otherwise, you're just waiting for them to come. And what happens is a lot of times they come and when we're not really expecting it. And so we're really not tuned into that frequency, and we're not really feeling them when they're coming around. Right? Now, that goes to say that there are definitely signs that our loved one sends us, right, in order to get our attention. But that's all that they're really doing or wanting to accomplish, is get our attention. When next time you get a sign from your loved one, and you know that's one of the signs, right? It's the butterflies, it's the favorite song, or, it's the feather, the dime, or whatever it may be, the sign that you get from your loved one. Next time that happens, I want you to treat it as if they're just waving at you and they're standing right next to you saying hello. Talk back to them. Say hi, acknowledge that they are there, because that's what's going to help you connect with the spirit world and your loved ones in a very deep and meaningful way. All right, is by actively going out and doing it. So welcome everybody, welcome into the live. I really appreciate everybody here checking out. If you have any questions, feel free to just throw them out there in the chat and I'll get to you. We'll just do like a little bit of a Q&A here. I can keep talking about technique. Yeah, got a new haircut, cut the hair off. Let me know what you think. I think I like it. I feel it feels very refreshing. I like it both ways, right? I like it with my hair, with the long hair, with the short hair. So it feels very refreshing. What if you hear your own voice say hi? Is that your higher self or spirit guide? So a lot of the times when we do get a connection, right? When we do get a connection, no matter who it is, the loved one, spirit guide, or whatever, we will hear it in our own voice, right? Because it sounds like a thought. When our loved ones, or when any spirit communicates with you, it sounds the same way our thoughts sound. Now, most of our thoughts come in our own voice, right? And so that's one of the ways it'll be. Every once in a while, you can get the thought in the voice of someone else, but don't worry too much about that. If you're getting the thought and it's in your own voice, that's what you want to go with. You want to go ahead and lead with that and move forward, even though it's in your own voice. Because here's the thing. It's not really a thought that you're thinking. It's a thought that you're receiving. And whether it's in your voice or somebody else's voice, that's not really important. The important thing is, what does it feel like when you're receiving that thought? Because that's what's going to allow you to tell the difference between if it's just some random thought or if it's an actual spirit communication. Usually most people who ask that question, that's really what they're trying to figure out. Is this my own thought or is this somebody else? And it really doesn't matter the voice. Just pay attention to how you feel. What are 3 door knocks? It could be all kinds of things. If that ever happens to you, just kind of just be like, hey, who's here? And just connect and see if you can feel another energy source that's in the room with you. I have dreams about my father, but never remember what happened or what was said when I wake. So one of the things that we can do, there's different types of dreams. Okay, so we have these subconscious projections, or we have true visitation dreams. What it sounds like you're explaining here is like a subconscious projection. A lot of the times if we go to bed with them on our mind, or if we've been thinking of them a lot, sometimes we'll just have these dreams and it's more like a memory or a projection of them. A visitation dream you will absolutely remember. You will wake up feeling like it was so real that it happened, right? Because it did. You're actually meeting up with your loved one in the spirit world. It's not really them coming into your dreams. So if you're not really remembering anything, That's okay. Okay, that's okay. That's not a big deal. And one of the ways, if you want to remember those projection dreams, you can just bullet point them, right? As soon as you wake up, just bullet point your dreams, no matter what they are. If anybody who wants to remember your dreams, just right when you wake up, few bullet points of what happened, and then give your dream a title, and then walk away from it. See, what happens most of the time as we wake up, we start thinking of all these other things, and now we're out of the subconscious space that we're in when we dream. And so now we can't remember a dream. But that moment, that second, that instant you wake up, if you grab a pen and just bullet point, you'll remember a lot of your dream. And then what I found is very helpful, by giving that dream a title, what happens is it helps you recall the dream even more. It ties that subconscious expression into the conscious mind, and you can recall the entire dream much better. So after you bullet point, give it the title, you go get ready, do your thing in the morning, later that evening, or whenever you have time, you come back and you look at your bullet points in the title, and the dream comes right back to you. Okay, so give that a try. Megan, hey, it is Leo season. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? Yes, several. I got several stories about that. Let me know if that's something you want to talk about. I've been told I can't ask my questions in a public places. Why wouldn't you be able to talk to your loved ones in public? I do it all the time. I connect with a bunch of other spirits in public as well. You know, one of the things is, yeah, if you're standing in the grocery line behind somebody and you're just like looking up at the ceiling, talking to one of your loved ones, then you're going to probably look a little weird, right? So use your best judgment. I talk internally, right? And so I could have a full-on conversation while somebody's talking with me. I could have a full-on conversation with the spirit and be fine. Nobody would know anything. But yeah, you can absolutely. So in order to, when you connect with the spirit world, it's boom, it's right there. You're right into it. You should be able to go right into it without any kind of meditation, without any kind of ritual or anything. You sense a spirit, boom, you should go right into it. It's not that you have to like sit down on the sidewalk and meditate for 45 minutes before you can connect with the spirits that are around. You can go right into it when you practice the non-woo-woo way. Melody, you're welcome. What's with sudden, vivid, and lucid dreams? They are long now and like a second life. And so anytime I would have these, so I don't have very vivid, or I don't have lucid dreaming, right? Lucid dreaming is where you know that you're dreaming, you're awake and you know that you're dreaming. Or you're dreaming and you know that you're dreaming, right? I don't really experience that. But the times that I have, what I've done is engaged with my dream. Like, okay, what's happening? All right, there's an old man sitting on a pumpkin over there. I'd walk over and be like, what's up, old man? Right? Why are you sitting on this pumpkin? What's going on? Right? Engage, and whatever you experience in the spiritual, in the mystical, even in the mundane, whatever you experience, engage with it. Right? Because that's how you're going to find out what the meaning is for you. There is no universal meaning. There are no universal symbols. There are not one thing that means everything all of the time. It's going to be unique to you in different ways. So the only way that you're going to get the unique meaning for you or experience, or the unique experience for you, is by engaging with whatever you're experiencing. Indigo, thank you. You guys like the haircut? I really appreciate it. My 5-year-old hates it. She did not want me to cut my hair. All she's known is me with long hair. But it's grown on her. She says she likes it now. I got a cut on Friday. And she's telling me, she's like, yeah, Dad, I like it. It looks good. She did not want it cut, though. A few years ago, I saw a shadow figure 6 feet from me. Then a coworker saw it near me an hour later. So let's talk to it. Let's find out why it's there and why it's following you around. There's nothing to be afraid of. Right? Just because it's a shadow figure, right? There's nothing to be afraid of, because two things can be true. All right, when we experience these shadow figures. Number one is that our level of perception of the spirit world isn't that enhanced just yet. And so we only perceive in shadows, right? Which is very legitimate, right? Or the spirit that you're experiencing is only able to project themselves in the way of a shadow, in the way that you can perceive them. Either way, it doesn't mean that they're bad or they're evil or they're ugly because of it. It just means that they look like a shadow. So that's, again, it goes back to what I was just talking about. Engage in with what you experience if you want to find answers. I seen my granddad at the side of my eye. When I looked, he wasn't there. Yeah, so duck runner, here's the reason why, is when in our peripherals, when we're focused on whatever we're focused on, like when we're watching TV or we're reading instructions or we're reading a book or we're really intensely focused on something that's in front of us, it gives our conscious mind something to lock onto. And when that happens, our peripherals start to slip into this relaxed and receptive state. Okay. And so you're going to sense things in your peripherals. But what happens when you turn and look at it? You bring your conscious mind with you. And so the thing that was there that you were perceiving now is gone because you brought your conscious mind to it and you're not in that receptive state anymore. So here's what you can do. Next time you sense something in your peripherals, I know it's difficult, but don't look. Don't look. Bring your awareness. Start to focus with your mind, your awareness. Bring your awareness to your peripherals and you'll start to sense what's there. And I know it's easier said than done, but just give it a practice, right? Every time that happens, try not to look and bring you'll see an image in your mind's eye when you bring that awareness and you'll know what it is. Jade, what work is it that I do? I help people connect with their loved ones in a way that's undeniable, in a way that they can have back and forth conversations. That's all I want to do is I want to help you because rather than give readings, it's way more meaningful of an experience for people to have that experience themselves. And there's not a better, more fulfilling, satisfying feeling to be a part of that process. And so that's what I do is I help you connect with your loved ones. What's the best way to induce an out-of-body experience? I don't know. I don't really I consciously do it, right? I don't really induce it in any way. I do more of this traveling, right? It's more of a projection of awareness, right? So when we talk about out-of-body experience, one of the things that we're talking about really is projecting our consciousness, right? And so our consciousness exists everywhere. So when we have these out-of-body experiences, we're projecting our consciousness, our awareness to other places, okay? And, and then there's another definition, right? It's important how we define things, right? And so that can be one of the definitions. Another definition can be, your energy, all of your energy actually leaving your body, like when you die. Right. And so I think, if that's what you're talking about, the only way to do that is to die, right? And then be resuscitated. I don't think that there's any other way for your energy to completely leave your body than come back in. And if you figure out how to do that, let me know. But it sounds dangerous. Do scary movies bring negative energy to your house? No, scary movies alone will not bring negative energy to your house. What brings negative energy to your house is your unresolved pain, right? And so whatever is going on, right, in our energy field, the energy that we emanate, brings these other spirits around that emanates the same thing, right? If you have sad or depression issues, you're going to have sad and depressed spirits around you. If you have anger issues, there's going to be angry spirits around you. If you have fearful, if you're fearful or skittish, you're going to have fearful and skittish spirits around you. Now, I want to be clear about something. Spirits are never, ever, 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 ever the source of the problems that are in your life. They are never the ones that are doing things to you. They are never the reason your life is the way that it is. But they will just want to hang out in your energy field, and that's it. It's not scary. It's not anything. Now, the downside to watching scary movies is that you're building this database of things that do not exist in your brain. Okay, so the next time you sense something, right? It could even be your grandmother, right? You sense this spirit. What happens if you're not able to clearly immediately identify who that spirit is immediately? Your brain is going to trip that fear response and start to deliver you the imagery of those scary movies. And now you're seeing fucking demons and shit, right? Now you're seeing poltergeists and little things running around that don't even exist. But that's because it's in your mind. Your mind is delivering those things. It's pulling from the database of scary movies that you've put into it. It's not real, right? And so that's why it's important. It's going to make it more difficult for you to learn how to communicate with your loved ones, because imagine sitting there feeling all of a sudden you feel a presence, right? You're going to be anxious as fuck if you love scary movies, because you're not going to know what that presence is, when you should be curious. Ooh, I feel a presence. That feels amazing. Let me lean into it deeper. Who is this? Why are you here? What are you doing? I don't know, right? And you're able to actually engage with that presence more rather than immediately go to fear. I've been told several times that I have a gift, but I've never known how or where to begin to tune in. Everybody has it, right? I don't even like to even call them gifts. They're spiritual abilities. Sometimes I do call them spiritual gifts in order to just help people understand. Thank you for the heart, Annabelle. In order for help people to relate, right? Because so many people call them gifts, but they're not gifts. These are innate abilities. We all have these. Every single person, without exception, can communicate with the spirit world. There are no exceptions. You are a spirit. Why wouldn't you be able to communicate with other spirits, right? Everybody has this, okay? But Rachel, as far as like where to begin, that's the hard part, honey. That is the most difficult thing. I spent 2 years chasing my tail, running into dead end, wall after wall after wall after wall, until I gave up. Like, I literally gave up, you know. In full disclosure, had I not had the couple undeniable experiences that I had in the beginning of my spiritual journey, I would not be here today. I would not be here. I would have given up. And so I'm going to give you guys a bit of encouragement here. Just keep going. Keep going, follow around, go with the stuff that resonates with you. But here are a couple rules that's going to really help you. Okay. Number one, follow anything that resonates with you. Okay? Anything that resonates with you, just don't adopt it as your truth just because it resonates with you. What you need to do is follow the breadcrumb. It resonates. Okay, so let me put this into practice. Let me apply this. Okay, no, this isn't working. Leave it alone. Follow the next breadcrumb. Okay, yeah, that starts to work. Boom. Okay, cool. Next breadcrumb, right? And so here's what the thing is. If you're not able to validate the information that you're working with through personal experience, if you're not able to recreate the experience the guru or the teacher is teaching you through their information, if you can't have those same experiences, it is not true for you. Let it go, walk away, find the next thing. Continue to explore your path in that manner. It will keep you away from bad information. It'll keep you away from the shit that just doesn't work. All right. And eventually you're going to pick up things here and there that actually work. And so one of the things that I do is I take great care in the content and information that I put out there. I take great care to put it together in a way that you can take it, immediately apply it, and have an experience. That's my number one MO, and to do it in a way that is simple, easy, and direct. Okay, that's what I do. That's my specialty. I feel like that's what I'm really, really good at, how I'm really, really good at helping people. So that said, as long as you're able to have experiences, then you know you're on the right track. Okay. And anybody out there that's looking for a baseline to begin, if you're looking for some sort of framework that you want to follow that, can kind of start to get you into some of these experiences, I do have a free spirit communication guide that you can download at the link in my bio. Can you tell me about astral traveling? Yeah, I got funny stories about astral traveling. Now, again, look, my thing is spirit communication, working psychically, working with our abilities, projection of awareness, right? Anything that has to do with working with our spiritual abilities. Astral traveling is just something I don't understand how to make that happen, but it happens to me, right? And so, but it's always boring and stupid, right? I'll wake up and I'll be like, in my kitchen, right? How exciting is that? I'll astral travel to my kitchen and I'll be like, what the fuck? And as soon as I realize, I'm like, oh, I'm out of my body. Wham! I'm right back in my body, right? I'm like, and I wake up and I'm like, man, couldn't I have gone somewhere cool, like another planet, or at least to the mountains or something, or the beach? So I don't really know how to help you with the astral traveling. Would our loved ones let us know they have reincarnated into another life? I think my son has went. Yeah, absolutely. If you would ask. If you ask your loved one, they'll tell you if they've reincarnated into another body or not. But here's the thing, even if they have, we can still communicate with them. Huh? What? How do we do that? It's really easy. It's really easy. Here's the thing. Let me explain it. Let me break it down because I feel like this is the fundamental principle that we all really need to understand, not just understand, but experience the foundation of spirituality, the foundation of who we are on a soul level. And once we understand this, a lot of our questions about spirituality become irrelevant and all kinds of new ones pop up. So here's the thing, and I'll relate it back to reincarnation in just a second. You are a spirit in your body, but the part of your energy that is in your body is very, very minute. The rest of your energy exists everywhere. It's omnipresent. It exists in all planes, all dimensions, everywhere that's anywhere. Your spirit exists. Your energy exists. There's just a portion of that energy that's here in the physical dimension, that's here in your physical body. It's like, again, it's nothing, right? The amount of you that is here is nothing compared to the totality of who you are. All right. And when we incarnate into this dimension and we put our energy in this body, it's like dipping your toe into a pool. Okay. And so we dip our toe into the third dimension. And when we die, we pull our toe out of the third dimension. We are still who we are on a soul level. Okay. And so here's what happens. Every life that we live, okay, those memories and personalities are held in the non-physical portion of where our energy resides. So the rest of that person who's dipping their toe in the pool, that's where all the memories and personalities are held from all of our past lives. So even if you dip your toe into a new pool, the memories and personalities from the past lives are still in that non-physical being, okay, in that energy being. And when we tap in and connect with our loved one, that's what we're doing. We're tapping into that part of the energy, that part of the soul where the personality and memories reside that were there, that you shared, right, when they were here with you, okay? That personality of the person who was here with you, that's what we're tapping into. So, on the grand, bigger scheme of things, each life that we live shapes who we are on a soul level, because if all of those personalities and memories are held in our energy signature, then every life that we live makes us a different person. That blew me away the first time I really experienced that and started to really explore my own past lives. I've never had a real no, Danny, I've never had a real near-death experience. I've come close to dying. You may even consider it a near-death experience, but there was some bizarre stuff that happened. But no, I don't believe to the traditional sense I have. Diane says, my husband passed a month ago. I have his ashes with me in my home. Is he watching over me? Absolutely. So Diane, anytime you think of your loved one, anytime you think of him, he's going to bring his energy close to you. Okay. And so you'll feel it. You'll feel him if you sit there and while you're thinking of him, feel the energy around you in the room, and you'll feel his presence. You'll feel him watching you, not only watching you, but talking to you. All right. Oh, I lost my spot. I went all the way to the end. Ralph, thank you for the gift, my friend. How do we know all this to be facts, not just faith? The internet says there's no scientific evidence. Yeah, I agree. I don't have faith. I don't think anybody should have faith. Personally, I have absolutely no room in my life or my spiritual journey for any kind of faith. Faith is for religion. And if you need to have faith in your life, nothing wrong with you. I just don't. I think everything should be validated by personal experience. And so here's how I answer that question, Tracy. So whenever somebody says, prove it to me, the simple fact is I cannot. I cannot prove it to you that there is life after death. I could bring through your loved one and talk about things that probably the only two of you would know. But if you're not a believer, you're going to say that I guessed, that I got lucky, right? There is no concrete way. There is no way for me to extract evidence and say, here it is. There's absolutely no way to do that. But that doesn't mean that you can't experience something that's concrete and evidential for yourself, because I think that that's what it takes for everyone. You have to have those undeniable experiences. You have to be the one to have the experience, or it's not real for you. It is theory. You are just having to have faith, right? But that's what it takes. It takes, in order to have that proof, the personal experience is the proof. And absent that, there is nothing else that can prove it for you in a concrete way. Had I not had those two, I had two very undeniable experiences at the beginning of my spiritual journey. Prior to that, I believed in none of this. If I had not had those experiences, I would not be a believer at all. I would have never gone down this road. Ralph, thanks for the follow. O'Neill, thanks for the follow. How do I know the difference from imagination in messages? Okay, so they feel different. Plain and simple, they feel different. But here's the thing. If you're not actively participating, if you're not actively reaching out to your loved ones, if you're not actively communicating with your spirit guides, you're never going to know what it actually feels like. Because it all feels like your imagination, but there are subtle differences, very, very subtle differences in feelings, right? You will never understand those subtle feelings unless you keep trying, unless you keep doing it, all right? Because here's what happens. Here's what it looks like for most people, including myself, right? Right before I really figured out how to make this happen and do it instantly, right? I failed and failed and failed and failed. Then I would have an experience. Then I would fail and fail and fail and fail. Then I would have an experience. And then I would fail more, fail more, fail more, fail and fail and fail. And then I would have an experience, right? And what I ended up doing was each time that I had those experiences, I reflected deeply. Okay, so I felt like this. So in my chest, I was feeling this. I felt this tingle on this side. Okay, I felt it when the information came up out of me. I felt what that felt like. I felt this fire up my spine. Okay, and then I said, okay, when I did it, my energy was down. I noticed my shoulders were slumped forward. I noticed that I was talking very soft. I noticed that there was this tightness in my throat. And right? And so I brought this awareness. And so now when I go to connect and communicate, I know what it feels like, and it is obvious. And I just don't ever have to doubt it. I just don't ever have to go, oh, my throat is closed. I know this is my imagination. No, I feel it and boom, I'm on to the next thing. I'm communicating, right? And then all of a sudden what happens is once you know what it feels like and you're confident with each piece of information that you're getting, you're building this wave, you're building this momentum. This momentum starts to keep going. This momentum builds up. And then it's just like this wave of energy picks you up and carries you along. You couldn't stop the information if you tried. You couldn't make it up even if you wanted to. It's just carrying you along. That's what happens. That's how you tell the difference. Things are so random to me. How do I strengthen my mind's eye? Here's why they're random to you, Harlow, is because there is no mind's eye, right? There is no, well, there's a mind's eye, excuse me. And I thought that you had said for a second, third eye. How do I strengthen my mind's eye? So the mind's eye may not be your dominant sense, right? Your mind's visually, you may not be visually seeing things. If you're not a visual person, you may not get a lot of visual cues from the spirit world. You may be getting it some other way. Okay, our 7 psychic signs, our 7 spiritual abilities, seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing, empathy, taste, and smell. All right, you only need to use one of those to have a full-on mind-blowing experience. Most people's strong sense is knowing. Most people who aren't visual, their strong sense is knowing, Okay, we're just going to get that gut feeling. We're just going to know that it's grandma. We're just going to know that she's got her hand on our shoulder. We're just going to know that she said X, Y, and Z. We're just going to know that grandpa's right there behind her. We're just going to know these things, right? And so don't get caught up trying to strengthen or hone in or do anything with your spiritual abilities, because here's the thing, they are already fully strong. They already are fully strengthened. You just have different levels of awareness for each one. And when you lead with the low-hanging fruit, when you lead with the one that is happening the easiest for you, you naturally activate all of your other ones. You naturally bring more of an awareness. All of a sudden, the knowing brings the sound brings an image, the image brings a smell, the smell brings a taste, right? And vice versa. The feeling brings an emotion, the emotion brings a sound, the sound brings an image. But we would never get to all of that information if we did not lead with the low-hanging fruit. We have no business trying to focus on one ability and trying to strengthen it. Go with what's happening easiest for you. Is it dangerous to use dowsing rods afraid of bad spirits? No, I mean, all of that is divining. You know, there's nothing bad that's going to happen. You use all of those things if it helps you. But listen, it's important that you understand that those things, all tools of divination, dowsing rods, pendulums, tarot cards, even Ouija boards, right? These are all middlemen. You can connect and communicate directly with the spirit world. You don't need these other tools, okay? Now, all these tools do is help get you out of your head in order to connect and communicate. What I like to do is let's address the constraint that's keeping you in your head. Let's deal with that so you can connect directly. But there's nothing wrong with them. Wow, everybody wants to know how to have an out-of-body experience tonight. Sue, thank you. I appreciate that. Janelle, awesome. A year ago, I meditated 4 to 5 hours a day. Holy shit, how the fuck did you do that? Then one night I felt something touch my leg and I saw some kind of light, a little cloud of light. I'm impressed that you were able to, I'm still blown away that you were able to meditate like that. I mean, sitting still and meditating, I got 15 minutes at best, right? And I only do it once in a blue moon when I feel like it. Probably less than once a month. I just don't have, that's just not the way that I meditate. I prefer active forms of meditation. But what you're probably experiencing here, like meditation is a path, right? That is one path that we can take, but it is a passive role. You're getting into this state where we've, you know, in meditation is like getting into that woo-woo, like we've dissociated from this world so hard that we're no longer a part of it, right? We're no longer in this world, right? And that's kind of what the point of meditation is, which there are some benefits. Don't get me wrong. There are some benefits to that as far as like calming the nervous system, resetting your energy, you know, letting go of your day. Like there are some really good benefits to that. But when we use it to connect with the spirit world, we're taking a passive role, because what happens is that we get in that dissociated energy and then we're floating around basically in the spirit world. And then whatever happens to float by us or interact with us, we interact with it. Or it just happens. We don't actually get to interact. It's just like, oh, here's this spirit and it's doing this thing and it's saying this stuff. Woo, now it goes away. Here's this other spirit. Now it's doing this thing and it's saying this stuff. Woo, and it goes away. Here's these cool, awesome experiences. There they are. I can observe them, but I can't interact or do anything with it. Whereas if you're taking that active role, right, you can just go right into it right now. Whatever that experience is that you're wanting to have through the meditation, you can have, I don't care what the experience is that you want to have through the meditation, you can have that experience, boom, right now, that fast. Okay. And when you do it that way, when you do it from a very conscious perspective and grounded, right? This is a very grounded way to do it. When you're conscious and grounded in that way, what happens is it allows you to interact. It allows the spirit world to come and say, hey, how are you doing? And you to go, hey, what's going on? Ask questions and interact. It allows you to have experiences, mystical experiences, and walk around and interact with them rather than just sitting back and observing them. Okay, and so meditation is a path, but what are your intentions? Do you want it to be passive or do you want to be active? Do you want to just be a spectator or do you want to participate? That's the difference, right? And most of the spiritual information out there, most of the spiritual teachers want to teach you how to meditate. Like, what's the go-to thing that a spiritual teacher tells you when you want to develop your spiritual abilities or you're having a hard time or whatever they're teaching isn't working for you? What is the fucking go-to? You need to meditate more. You need to meditate better. You're not meditating enough. And, I really call bullshit on that because we don't need to meditate to connect with our abilities. We don't need to meditate to have these awesome, amazing, mystical experiences. I don't meditate at all. Thank you all I appreciate the comments on the haircut. Thank you so much for the love. I'm glad everybody's enjoying my haircut. I really enjoy it too. I go off and on every few years. For those of you that haven't been following me for that long, every few years, like I'll go from the long hair to the short hair, from the long hair to the short hair. I haven't had it this short since probably 2019. So if you find some old videos of me, you'll see me with hair this short. And there's plenty of them out there. But anyway, guys, look, I got to run. Today was the first day of school. I got to go pick up my little one. I'm so anxious. She just started kindergarten today. I'm so anxious to hear how she does, how her day was. I dropped her off this morning. I was way more nervous than she was. She was ready. She was pushing me out the door. She was saying, bye, Dad, go, get out of here. And so I want to go get her right now. I'm thinking about her. I want to go get her. But listen, I appreciate all of your comments. I appreciate all the engagement. Your comments are what inspires my content. So go comment on my videos, comment on my live. If I don't answer you directly, one of my videos will, because I get all of my content ideas from you guys, okay? Listen, for those of you that want to work with me directly, for those of you that want to have your hand held and brought right into a back and forth conversation with any spirit or spirit guide, and you want custom tailored guidance for yourself, my mentorship program might be something that you're into, that you've been interested in. You can schedule an interview for that program by going to the link in my bio, picking a time and day that works for you, okay? So much love to you all. Hope to see you soon.